Hey, it's Steph. Thanks for watching today's video. I have an update for my goals this year. In the beginning of 2025, I put out a video talking about several goals I had for my makeup collection. I did do an update for quarter one in, I think, like the beginning of April, and today I'm going to talk about my progress from April, May, and June. I am filming this a little late in July, but all the information I have here is as of July 1st. So nothing from July is in here, even though I have hit more goals, but I can't talk about those yet. If you're not familiar with my channel, I do mostly panning content. I'm actively working through my collection of the items that I already own, so I am not tempted to buy new things. I am on a no-buy this year. It's my second no-buy year in a row, and just check-ins like this help me keep on track and kind of update you guys on how I'm doing. I also do some get ready with me's and palette bingos every now and then, so if that sounds good to you, I hope you subscribe if you're not already, and give this video a thumbs up if you want to encourage me on hitting my goals this year. Y'all, I think I'm gonna cut my hair. I just don't know what to do with it. I'm pretty lazy with it. I really should style it wavy because it's naturally wavy, but I just kind of sleep on it and I wear it up most of the time anyway. That doesn't really matter, but I might mess with my hair a lot. I tend to do that when I wear it down. Sorry in advance. But like I said, I did create some goals in the beginning of this year, and the first goal was to stick with my no-buy. It is a replacement only no-buy, so if I run out of anything in a specific category, I'm allowed to buy a replacement, but I'm only allowed to buy things that are on sale. And I'm just referring to my phone here. And I am allowed to accept declutters and gifts throughout the year, which I will talk about in a second. But last update, I had stuck to my no-buy. I received some gifts and declutters, which I am very happy to receive. And I received quite a few things for Mother's Day this year. So in May, I brought a few things into my collection as gifts, and I want to touch base on that for a second because I never used to ask for makeup like as gifts until I went on a no-buy, and I felt like my brain is kind of looking for excuses to bring makeup in without it affecting my no-buy, and I never used to do that. And I'm just kind of like taking note of it and sharing that with you guys because I don't like that I do that, but it has happened. So for Mother's Day, Tarte was having their special where they have like 7 items that are $11 each, so it's like 7 items for $77. And I did ask for that as a gift, and I was able to pick out my own products and things like that. So I was picking the items out and I made the order, so it was as if I was buying it, but it was like as a gift. And I know some people might not think anything of that, but it kind of made my brain, I felt guilty. Let's just say that. I felt guilty, and I really didn't need these items, but I was very tempted by the sale. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that, but I'm trying really, really hard. I did also talk about on my stories that now that I have a job, now that I'm not on unemployment and I'm actually bringing in like a second income to my household, my no-buy is a lot harder because I do have some money, but then I have to remind myself that I'm still paying off medical bills. So, it's like, it's just hard. And I know y'all can relate. But I did get that Tarte little set. I talked about that. I kept referring to it in my inventory because there's 7 items that came from that set and all across my inventory. So this is what I'm referring to in that video, and I will have a screenshot of the items because I didn't want to pull them all out. But I also got something like an actual gift for Mother's Day. I had a couple products from Flower Nose on my Amazon list. My family just does like Amazon lists to make it easy to have everything in one place. You don't have to buy everything from Amazon, but it's just like ideas. And I had some Flower Nose items on there, and I actually got them. So I got the Strawberry Rococo eyeshadow palette and a blush from that line as well. And I absolutely love those. I'm so glad that I have them, and it makes me want more from that brand, but I will resist. But I am enjoying those so far. I will admit I have not used any of the Tarte products that I brought into my collection, which is so annoying and so typical. And then I did also add another eyeshadow palette to my collection, but it was free. It was from Nomad via their Starfish program. If you're not familiar with their program, it's when they take nominations for different beauty creators from other content creators and they nominate people to fit their theme. This round's theme was like someone who spreads kindness and positivity throughout the beauty space, and I was nominated by my friends. They're so sweet, and I actually got picked by Nomad, and so they sent me a free palette, and I picked the Chamonix Après-Ski palette. It is such a gorgeous, cool-toned, oh my gosh, it's a stunning palette, and I'm so thankful to have that in my collection. When I talked about that in my No Pan Left Behind update, I teared up, but I made it through. I made it through without tearing up. And then I actually did buy a replacement. So this is the first like purchase from myself this year, and it was a replacement, so it does not count against my no buy. But I was, and I have since emptied it, but I can't talk about it in my empties later because I completed my Catrice under eye corrector. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you know I cannot live without that. So I did buy a replacement. It was like $6. It wasn't a big deal, and it was a replacement, so it doesn't count against my no buy. So far this year, halfway through 2025, I have stuck to my no buy. I will say that some people have been coming to me offering me some declutters, and I have refused some things. I've been good, but I have accepted some things as well. Things, whether it be from a brand that I've never tried or it's just something I've been eyeing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, can I please have that? So I actually have received a couple of them already, but it was in July, so I won't be sharing those at this update, but you will see them in the next quarter's update. And I have not received a few of them either. So, I mean, that's another way that I'm kind of like not necessarily cheating my no buy, but I'm still bringing items in, and I really just have to check myself. It's like, what do I really want my collection to look like? In the beginning of the year, my no buy was strictly monetary. It's because I was laid off. I didn't have an income. I literally did not have any money. So now that I am like bringing more things in, how do I feel about it? You know, my inventory is growing, and as a project planner, my inventory, you know, technically I feel like it should be going down, which it is going down in some categories, but it's also going up. So I just need to kind of sit down, be very intentional of what I'm bringing in, but I feel really excited and hopeful that I will love all of the declutters that I am receiving. Hopefully that makes sense. And I hope I didn't contradict myself in any of those words, because sometimes I do that. So my second goal for 2025 was to hit pan in 25 products. At my last check-in, I had already hit 19 pans, and I don't remember. I should have looked back. I did talk about increasing my goal from 25 to something, and I have not. I've kind of like just landed on the fact that I'm gonna hit a bunch of pans this year. We'll see how many I can do, kind of thing. Like 50 would be a really good number, and I think that is achievable. But I don't want to be like, oh, I didn't hit 50. I'm gonna do 50. That's my goal. I'm deciding that right now in this moment. So my new goal is to hit 50 pans. And this last quarter, this last 3 months, I have hit 16 more pans, which makes a total of 35. So I really do think 50 is manageable if I stay on track. Let's see, most of these are eyeshadows, but I do have a couple other separate types of products. I think I had the physical items with me at my last update. For today, I'm just going to throw up pictures. I hope you're okay with that. But the first several come from April, and I hit pan in the Lorac Pro Noir palette in the shade Majestic. This was a beautiful metallic blue color. I also hit pan in my Revolution Animal Magic palette in the light blue matte color. They don't have shade names. I hit pan in my Odin's Eye Jewels and Gem palette, the shade Seventh Heaven. Then I had another pan in my Revolution Animal Magic palette, which was the mid-tone pink matte. Second to last pan in April was the Half Caked Pretty Precious palette, which was the shade Baby Love. And my last pan in April was a blush, and it was my ColourPop Heart blush in the shade Let's Dance. So those are my 6 pans that I hit in April. I hit 8 pans in May, which was kind of mind-boggling. The first one was in ColourPop Sweet As Can Be palette, the shade Honey Tree. The second pan was also in my Lorac Pro Noir palette. It was the first shade Ecru. Then I hit 2 more pans in my Revolution Animal Magic palette. The first one was the dark matte pink, and then the pink shimmer. I hit pan in my Catrice Friends Lift Each Other Up palette in the shade Every Moment. Then I hit pan in my Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. That's my Pan That palette, and it was the shade Steampunk. Then I had another pan in my Catrice Friends Lift Each Other Up palette, and that is the shade Thoughtful. And my last pan in May was my ColourPop Lavish palette, the shade Connect. And then I only hit 2 pans in June, so the first one being from the ColourPop Of Course palette. It was the shade CO. And then in my Juvia's Place Garden of Juvia's palette, the shade Gardenia. So those were my 16 shades from the second quarter of the year. 16 pans, not shades. What is doing? I look like a lion. So that is 35 pans total. And so I only have to hit 24 more to meet my 50 use goal. I do think that's manageable, but it is still a challenge, so we'll see how I do. My third goal for this year was to finish 20 products, and that is makeup products. I don't count my skincare because I don't know, I move through skincare pretty quickly, and I don't really have trouble with skincare. I don't have very many backups. So I'm literally just like finishing one and then buying a replacement, finishing one, buying a replacement. I don't really have like a huge stockpile. So I don't know, I just didn't feel like counting skincare. I just wanted to finish 20 makeup products. So at the last update, I had finished 6, and this past quarter, I have finished 6 more. So I have a total of 12 empties so far out of my 20, so I'm a little over halfway there. In April, I just had one, but it was a big one. It was my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I missed that, but I'm not going to repurchase it anytime soon, but I will at one point in the future. In May, I had 2 empties. The first one was my Hourglass Franken Contour Powder. And I count that as its own product because I had Frankened like the rest of a bronzer that I don't have anymore, and that was finishing it through the Franken. So I count it as that product. And then the second MDMA was my NYX Epic Ink Eyeliner. That was getting so gross and like gloopy, and it was getting really hard to use. I've had it for a few years, so I was comfortable calling it an empty. It was also getting really frayed, like half of the brush hairs were like bent down, and it was just not fun to use anymore. And then I had 3 really good empties in June. The first one being the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm. That was a primer, and I really enjoyed that. I probably would purchase it, but I don't really need a primer in my life right now. I finished one of my Essence Lash Princess mascaras. That was the last of those like green Lash Princess mascaras that I had, and now I'm moving on to different things, and I kind of missed that one. It's only $4. I should just stick with that one, not try anything else, but oh well. And then the last empty in June was my Benefit Boing Cakeless Concealer. So that's another big empty, and took me quite a bit to finish up, but I finally did. So those are my 6 empties this last quarter. Very, very exciting. My 4th goal this year was to use every single one of my eyeshadows in my collection, and I am updating my No Pan Left Behind project every quarter as well. So that video is up on my channel already, but if you missed it, I will share the numbers here. So at the first quarter, I had used 211 out of my 657 eyeshadows, and that was a percentage of 32.11%. I have since added some eyeshadows to my collection, so I now have 671 eyeshadows. I have been able to use 400 out of those so far this year. That does include the eyeshadows from the first quarter. That's just the total. So 400 so far in the year, and that is 59.61%. So I am over halfway there at the halfway point of the year, so I'm feeling really good about that. But I'm also adding some more eyeshadow palettes via Declutters soon, so I might get a little worried about meeting that goal. But so far I'm doing well. And then my very last goal, I never set goals on my nail polish, and they get neglected a ton. I rarely paint my nails. I do have my nails painted today, but yeah, I just don't prioritize it like some people do, and I do really like having painted nails, but I just get kind of lazy. But I just wanted to use every single one of my nail polishes at least once. I did change that goal at the last update because my goal was a little, it was impossible. Actually, it was literally impossible for me to hit, so I had to reevaluate that. And I currently have 19 total nail polishes. 7 of those are gel. I just broke that out for some reason. But at the last update, I had used 4 of them. But a few of them I had used multiple times because at the time, my goal, I think it was use each of them like 5 times or something, and that's literally impossible. Even if I painted my nails once a week, I couldn't have met that goal. But I have since used 4 more nail polishes, and so I've used 8 out of my 19, so I'm a little behind, but I think if I, continue to work at it, now that my goal is just once time per, I will be able to meet that goal at the end of the year. So my battery is flashing at me. I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how you think I'm doing in the comments below, and of course subscribe if you're not already. I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye.